Hi everyone. Today the purpose of this video is to give you some tips and tricks when you're putting your campers to bed for the very first night. This is oftentimes the hardest night to put your campers to bed because your campers are in a new situation, they're staying in a place that's new to them, they're with people that are new to them, and this can oftentimes lead to homesickness when the younger campers can sometimes lead to campers misbehaving. And even with the older campers, it can lead them to feeling a little bit anxious and they might not show as much, but it's a hard night to go to bed. When I was a camper, I've been going to the same camp, Beaver Camp, for many years, and the first night, even when I was older, I think sometimes when I was there, it was better than others, and that was oftentimes led to what my counselor was doing to help me feel calm and at ease when I was going to bed. Therefore, I'm trying to help you, and as a counselor or staff member, to give you some tricks to kind of help you out. I think the biggest key ideas that you need to consider when you're putting your campers to bed is that you want your campers to feel tired and you want your campers to feel safe and relaxed. Those are like the two main things, and I'll go into how you can kind of create an environment that they feel tired and that they feel safe and relaxed when they're going to bed. The first idea is that you want your campers to feel tired. And by this, I mean you want them to feel like physically exhausted when they're going to bed. I don't mean stay up really, really late with them so that they feel so tired that they have to go to bed. That's not what I mean at all. What I mean is you want to do a whole bunch of activities and games with them during the day that they are excited to go to bed because they had such a long, exhausting day that they're ready to sleep like right away. And when you put them to bed, they go to sleep. I know this can be challenging because I know depending on the camp you work at, I know at our camp, we didn't get campers until around 3 p.m. or something like that. So we didn't have a full day with them, but you can still do a lot of things that can help them feel more tired. I know with me, like I always try to keep my excitement level high on that first day when we're moving to like a different activity or going to a new location. If we're going to dinner or something like that, I'd have them run there and we just run a lot and do a whole bunch of things and just be excited and shouting and things like that. Another thing, I would have them either chase me or another staff member, especially with the younger kids, the 8 and 10-year-olds. I'm pretty quick, like the 8 and 10-year-olds aren't going to catch me. So that was a fun thing to do, where I just run away from them and they'd have to chase me, and that tires them out. Basically, for the younger kids especially, I just made them run a whole bunch as much as possible. With the older kids, we still, for all camp games and things like that, I would still have them run and things like that. But I really wanted to make sure that they were excited. And this did two things. One, they're running a lot, you're tiring them out, and then two, you're keeping the excitement level high. When they're going to bed, they feel tired and they like kind of look back on the day and they remember, wow, like we had a ton of fun. It was only the first day, we've only been here for a few hours, but I had a ton of fun. And that kind of helps go into my next part of kind of putting your campers at ease and making them feel calm. The next key idea is making your campers feel safe and relaxed and calm. And to do this is more towards the actual bedtime and your bedtime routine. I think it's important to know how you're going to lead a bedtime routine and kind of establish that, because this will make it so that you're more at ease and you know what to do, because this could be one of the most challenging parts of the day because you already had a full day of activities, you've been doing things, you've been going and things like that, and now like you personally you just want to go sleep. And so if you already have an idea of how you're going to do that, it helps to make this process go as smoothly as possible. For me, as a counselor, I would have my campers shower and brush their teeth and things like that. And sometimes it was more of a high energy thing where people would be, I don't know, all in the bathroom together and just messing around and things like that. But once they got that done and the campers that want to shower, then I would bring them together. And at the camp that I worked at, we did this thing called Cabin Devos, which basically is I would lead a discussion each night or plan an activity that would teach them more about God and things like that. This might be different depending on the camp that you work at, but I think a lot of camps kind of have a closing discussion. It can even be so much as talking about the day and just kind of reflecting on that. But on the first night, I would always talk more about myself and kind of talk about who I am, why I'm at the camp, my relationship with God. I could go into more detail depending on the age level of campers and dig a little deeper into my life for the older campers, or keep it more about who I am and what I like to do to have fun and things like that for the younger campers. What this did was it established a personal relationship with the campers and showed that they could trust me. I wasn't a stranger. I was willing to be vulnerable with them and they could be vulnerable with me. I would sometimes also ask questions to other campers or ask other campers that felt comfortable asking them to share. And this created an environment where you're not staying with strangers anymore. Like, you know who the people are that you're sleeping next to in the same cabin and everything like that. And I really think this helped to make campers feel at ease and calm before going to bed. After this, I would let any campers that need to use the bathroom again go use the bathroom, do final last things like that, and then I would get all the campers in bed. I would turn the lights off, and what I would do was I would read a book to them to help them fall asleep. A lot of times this would be Narnia or Horse and a Boy, something like that. And I know a lot of counselors, they would sing or play guitar or something like that, which I also think is a really good idea. And I wish I could do that, but I'm not musically talented, unfortunately, and I never got the opportunity to do that, even though sometimes I did have other staff members staying in my cabin and they would play guitar, which I personally really liked. But I normally read to them. In general, this normally made it so campers would fall asleep. I would make sure that they didn't have any flashlights on or anything like that, so it was just dark, but just had my own flashlight, reading at the book and everything like that. Yeah, in general, they would fall asleep. Sometimes you did have more difficult campers, and I'll touch on that a little bit now too. For the more difficult campers, there would either be two types. There's like the obnoxious type or the one that's feeling homesick, and sometimes it's actually intertwined a little bit. But with like the obnoxious one, they would be talking while I was reading, making noises, trying to make other campers laugh, playing with their flashlight, things like that. And a lot of times I would keep reading and ignore them basically because they're acting out for attention and they wanted other campers to laugh and things like that. But I knew they were tired because we had a long day. Generally, if I just kept reading, they would stop misbehaving. Sometimes even after I've read for a really long time and things like that, they would still be talking and things like that. I sometimes tried to ignore them, and I knew that they would tire themselves out eventually and go to sleep. And in general, that was kind of my strategy, and that worked, because if I kept like scolding them, say stop talking, they're getting what they want. They wanted me to say something to them, but if I'm not saying anything, they don't have any purpose to really talk. They're just gonna end up falling asleep. Sometimes when it was really bad, I would go over to their bunk or bring them outside and ask them, like, why are you talking like right now? Like, what's going on? Maybe it was something like deeper. Maybe they were homesick or something like that, and they could kind of tell me that, and we could talk through a little bit what was going on, and then I would kind of give them a little spiel on why they should stop talking and how that's frustrating to other campers and how we are going to do so many fun things tomorrow and that we need to get our sleep in order to do that. That's kind of my strategy for dealing with that. Another is a homesick camper, and I'll go into more detail in another video, but for homesick campers, they are uneasy and they can't fall asleep because they have this homesickness. What I would do is I would talk to them and say, like, we're gonna do so many fun things, similar to the obnoxious camper, that we're gonna do so many fun things and you should feel calm and like we need to get our sleep and things like that. It's basically the same thing, and just showing them that attention, that I was there for them, that normally really helped too. In conclusion, like the two biggest takeaways from this is that you want to tire campers out during the day, and then you want to make their campers feel calm and relaxed at night. You can do this you can tire them out during the day by just running them a bunch and being super excited during the day, and that's what I normally did. To make them feel calm and relaxed, you can kind of share more about yourself so that they can trust you and they don't feel like they're sleeping with a complete stranger or anything like that. And then I would oftentimes read, or if you can play music, then play music. And these are kind of the things that I've done as a camp counselor that really help campers fall asleep, and they work for me, and I hope that they work for you. Thank you, and I appreciate you taking the time to look at this.